One important thing here is the method, and that's where we are shifting a little bit from the content of communication to process of communication. So the method of engagement, of interaction, of conversation or conversing with one another in debate and dialogue is about telling. It's encompassed by, or it's labeled, known as telling one another. Debates, what do people do? They tell each other. Two people, they say, hey, this is my opinion. This is what's right and wrong. This is what should be doing, what should be happening. And the other person just mimics, does the same exact thing. Wonderful for political scenes, wonderful for like public displays and debates and things like that. And then there is an audience to make a decision. But the worst thing that can happen in a romantic relationship, and we see the consequences and aftermath a lot of times in the children of families growing up, right? They are the audience of the mom and dad debating and arguing with one another all the time. There are two losers always, which is mom and dad, and actually on top of that the kids are also losers, unfortunately. And by losers I mean everybody experiences trauma. So we have to get rid of that, and really in romantic, meaningful, close, intimate relationships, family relationships as well, we have to focus on shifting from this telling method, kind of imposing our thoughts and feelings and values and the morality of our own morals onto the other, to that was the more dysfunctional method, to the more functional method, which then shifts it to dialogue. What is a functional method of discovering morality? Instead of telling, what we have to do is we have to ask questions. So for thousands of years, there is a very famous method of asking questions that you probably most likely are aware of, which is called Socratic questioning. And the reason that Socrates and Socratic questioning is very powerful and that we implement in effective dialogue is that it builds up on layers and layers of curiosity. So it is designed inherently to empathically discover the reasons and the depth of reasoning of the speaker. So a listener would ask questions of the speaker or to the speaker. So the listener engages in curiosity, despite the fact that they may agree or disagree, that's not relevant. They engage in this process of curiosity, getting to know, understanding the reasoning, the depth of logical, emotional processes of the speaker, of the person who is frustrated, agitated, emotional, whatnot. It's like in pain. And then one question would get an answer. It then would be summarized by the listener. And there's a reason for what I will get to that later. And then would also ask for clarification for that summary, whether or not the listener understood. And follow that up with another question. So it's like a building, like Lego land, if you will, right? You're building up something. You're building up better understanding. You're building up a story, the narrative, the whole truth about this other person. So you're kind of digging deeper and deeper and deeper into a much more meaningful presence with the other person. That is one thing that we shift from this functional approach, process, to a functional approach and process.